Welcome to the Customer Management IQ video interview series. We are on site today at the 3rd Annual Customer Experience Summit in Miami Beach, Florida. Joining me right now is Tim Bechtold, the Senior Director of Business Support Services at Jackson Hewitt. Tim spoke this morning about how Jackson Hewitt is using new technologies from right now to leverage and meet the customer service demands in a new social media world. Tim, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. It's good to be here.
Thank you. So I'd love to hear a bit about how Jackson Hewitt is using this new technology to meet new customer service demands.
Well, actually, for us, the advent of the social media movement has been a kind of a boon for our business. Probably no surprise that most people don't think about preparing their taxes until the deadline arrives. So it's out of mind for most of the year when they should be doing the planning and the preparation that are so critical to a successful outcome when they actually prepare their taxes. So for us, we've been able to upload content to YouTube, short videos with tax tips, news and information coming out of the breaking news from the IRS as Congress works through changes in tax law. We put snippets of information out there that are sort of canned and on the shelf, and those customers or prospects can look at that most anytime and start the thought process for them to be ready when it comes time to do their taxes. In addition, so you would say in a word, we do a lot of educational outreach, if you will, through the social media platforms. In addition, of course, if we have a customer with a concern or a question and they're out there trumpeting on the social sites, we naturally shepherd those folks. Being that we're a largely franchise-owned operation, it's our role to assist the franchisee in connecting with that customer. So we do the shepherding job of seeing that content or feedback on the website and putting them in touch with a locally owned office so they can come to a happy resolution for that customer concern. And I guess the third thing I would say is not usually typically heard about or thought of in the tax prep business, but we actually have some fun with it. The sites provide the opportunity. We presently have 2 contests going on. One of them is simple as having folks take a picture of themselves in front of a Jackson Hewitt office and upload it to our Facebook page, and then we build it out on a little geographic map of the U.S., and they can see where their little pin is placed compared to their friends and family or anybody else they want to engage to participate in that process. And we have another contest where they're uploading their own homemade videos that really try to tell the story. We gave them a theme that said, tell the story about sort of the impact of your tax return. That's mostly the focus for this group. So we have people uploading videos that tell us about how they used money to help family members or friends or settle some of their debt situations and just generally make life better. And from all those entries, it generates a lot of buzz, a lot of the human interaction that you don't necessarily associate with the warmth and humanness of the tax return process. But for some folks, it's a significant way to make their lives better. So it's been working for us in all those ways.
And a social media plan as expansive as the one you just described certainly takes buy-in from all ends. So what are some of the training initiatives that you've done to help employees get on board and understand the rationale behind this program?
Certainly at the outset, there's that natural concern that says, oh, people are going to have this sort of spotlight and megaphone to say things about the company. But it didn't take too much refocus and effort to be able to make them understand. More work perhaps from our marketing department, but they will, as I said, upload content, post a lot of the positive things that are happening in local franchise offices are posted out there. So it made a lot of folks who weren't necessarily kind of in the marketing role in those local offices think about that and prepare content that they could provide on those sites and understand and recognize that their feedback is now very public and seen by the whole world. So some of our training focused on delivering that content in the best way possible. Some things translate better in text, some things translate better in the spoken word. So there was training and some development done to help them understand which vehicle was best and what way to present the information. Apart from that, I'd have to say that it's a natural part of what we do that we want preparers that are professional and support agents as well that are professional, friendly, and courteous. And so then that's just part of the screening process we normally do. So that really didn't change in the social world because that's the face we have to present when they come into the offices. We just found ways to highlight that in a public sphere.
Interesting. And I know one of the unique challenges that Jackson Hewitt faces is that you have 2 very distinctly different sets of customers. You have franchises and individual customers. So what is the difference in the social media strategy you use for each type of that customer, and what advice would you give to another company that has 2 distinct categories of customers?
Well, I guess in one regard, I would say that we have, in working with Right Now Technologies, we've stood up really 2 separate knowledge bases, sort of the self-service forums and so forth. One with content and technical detail that's applicable to our franchise owners and preparers. So that sits on our corporate intranet. That's not open to the public. But it's still shared because 40,000 preparers can log in at any time 24/7 and access that information. They can post questions, concerns, feedback, updates that they're looking for from software that we do. So is stood up for that group of our customers. The other group, of course, being the traditional external customer, if you will, the taxpayer. So we have a separate knowledge base stood up for them on our corporate website. The same sharing process takes place, the same two-way communication takes place. The content's a little different, obviously, in that scenario. If we're answering a tax question for them on that site in a self-service way, or even responding to emails, which we do every tax season, part of it is for us not to, to provide some guidance in the explanation, but really to, again, shepherd them to their local office, because we don't know necessarily all the details about their complete financial picture or their tax scenario through a simple email exchange. So we'll shepherd them to connect with the people that do.
And so moving forward, this has been a strategy that has been good for you to now. Social media changes constantly. How do you see it changing in the coming year? How do you see your program changing in the coming year? And what can companies do to meet these new demands from customers?
Well, I think the good thing about the social media is that it only emphasizes sort of a movement that's already taking place, the voice of the consumer. I heard some sessions I sat in earlier today at the conference from an organization that was very focused on listening intently to what their frontline direct contact to the customer employees had to say about how their processes work, what the delivery of their content looked like to the customers in its various forms. And so their focus was on listening to their frontline contact associates to hear from them and get their input on how to make their products better, how to make the delivery better. The social media world is simply an extension of that same process. It again forces you to listen to the people on the front line, and we're the management layer sort of next behind them. We may think that we know the answers and the best way for them to proceed, but the feedback that we get both from frontline employees and now from customers directly from the street, we get to hear, whether we want to or not, we get to hear what it is they like about our product and our services and what they don't like. And that makes it possible for us to quickly gather that information and respond and tailor it. And I think as the social media world continues to move in that direction, it just makes companies have to become smarter and more nimble and more responsive to their customers, which is what was really probably the basis for the whole social media process to begin in the first place. So we embrace it, we enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it's exciting to see where we'll be going, and I appreciate you sharing your insights with us today.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. And for our viewers, you can check out more of our videos at customermanagementiq.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Corey Bennett. Thanks for watching.